I just wonder where we've gone as a society. Did people just submit to all of this? My friend Mike Hanson, the story's on Infowars.com, who was the second producer of my Access TV show after Buckley, and who did camera work for me for about 6, 7, 8 years, and is in a lot of my documentaries, snuck into Bohemian Grove with me. Mike Hanson called me frantically a few days ago, but he didn't want to come on air yet. He said he was going to speak to the city council. This is a guy with no criminal record, Army veteran, father of multiple children, married 40-something years, just a great guy. His dad's was famously part of the people that tried to take out the tower shooter at UT. His brother's a senior police officer, highly decorated in Austin. Just, he's a really good guy. And he said, he called me last week. I talked about it on air, and he just said there's SWAT teams everywhere. They're SWAT teaming hundreds of houses. They don't have warrants. They have rubber stamp warrants. They federalized Gonzales. And this is a town where his German side of the family, the Wolves basically were early immigrants too. It's where the Texas Revolution started as well. And when his grandfather died, he moved down there and took over a little hotel and a bunch of houses he owned. Kind of blue-collar, nouveau riche, hard-working folks. And so it happens to his renters. It happens to people he sold houses to. It's happened to people he knows. It's happened to people he knows where they SWAT-teamed horse stables where he keeps his 2 horses, were pointing guns at people. And he pulled up while they had a family out with little kids pointing guns at him. And so he was flipping out on the phone to me last week, and I said, you better be careful, Mike. They are taking over towns all over the country, and asset forfeiture seizing. And they are taking your town over because that private property's got big oil and gas wells on it. That's the houses they're SWAT teaming folks that just got oil and gas money. And they're taking over. They're taking over everywhere. And he went to the city council, spoke for 3 minutes, was finishing a statement, and the police chief arrests him. And then he doesn't resist them, and they charged him. I just talked to the family this morning, called his cell phone, and talked to multiple members of his family, and he has now been charged with disrupting a public meeting or procession and resisting arrest, which could be a felony. They haven't gotten it yet from the judge, and now he's being held, and they're saying he won't bond out. Well, I know why. They're probably giving him a personal recognizance bond that basically agrees that he's done these things. That's how those read in most counties and cities now. Things are so fraudulent. But there's all these big global stories. It's just, there's an example. Someone I know is in a town where, and this is a pretty big town now, where he says no matter where he drives, there are armored trailers and people with black uniforms raiding houses. It's basically a roundup. And this is how they do it, town by town by town. And they do it with the drug war when the government, the big banks that run the government, are shipping the drugs in on record. I mean, they had congressional hearings in the 60s, the 70s, and in 1997 with the CIA Inspector General admitting it. But I don't need to hear it from them. I've interviewed Terry Reid, and I've interviewed the famous CIA pilots. And it goes beyond that. I've had family personally that told me about it. And I'm not going to go any further. I don't even want to know this stuff because I already know it all, you know. It's all dangerous. It's all bad. It's all evil. And, of course, they don't just stop with the drug dealing. They run the kids now, the snuff films. And the argument is, well, we run it so we control it and keep control of it. Bull. You're growing the crime. You're growing the culture of corruption. You're growing the whole stinking thing until the entire culture implodes. And they say because he kept speaking, that's resisting. He resisted him in no way. But it becomes this fetish that, oh, you resisted the police, so now we're going to charge you. And that's how the police dishonor themselves, is by false charges. And just throwing charges on people to punish them. You're not going to punish Mike. Now he's going to end up putting all his money and energy into running for city council. and he's going to come after all of you politically, and you've only made it 50 times worse. And that's where tyrants miscalculate throughout history. When we come back,